welcome back to Real Reviews. This is Cody Williams, and we're here to talk about the movie Talk to Me. It is the newest horror film to come from A24 Studios that I have been very much looking forward to for quite some time after seeing the previews for it. After the critical success from A24's past few horror movies, and also how much I love them myself, you could pretty much imagine just how excited I am to jump on in and start talking about this new movie. The movie story follows when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand. They become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and opens the door to the spirit world, forcing them to choose who to trust, the dead or the living. Well, that was actually really good. It's a unique spin on possession horror that's never been done before, and I admired just how innovative and how different the movie was. Going into this movie beforehand, this movie was being hyped as one of the scariest movies ever. Judging the movie afterwards for myself, I didn't think it was one of the scariest movies ever, but I will say that was pretty unnerving. Unequivocally so, I do believe this film being one of the best horror movies I've seen in quite some time, especially with the simplicity of the story, tremendous use of tension and suspense, shockingly horrific visuals, great camera work, and some fantastic acting. Being the full feature directorial debut for both Danny and Michael Filippo, I was very impressed with what they've done with this independent horror flick. I'm not entirely familiar with them and their past work, but from what I've read is that they started with a YouTube series, then went off from there. After seeing how successful this new movie turned out to be, I definitely see a bright future for both of them. Like I said earlier, I do believe the movie was a bit overhyped for being one of the most absolutely scariest movies ever made. I mean, it does seem like that's the kind of marketing strategy for most horror movies nowadays, to get people to watch these kind of movies, and I have to say that it does work. The movie does have jump scares, but it's not self-reliant on them as a crutch like most horror movies these days. Where this movie succeeds more at is the feeling of tension and dread that's prevalent throughout the whole course of the movie. I can't speak for everyone, but I was on the edge of my seat in anticipation, not knowing what to expect next. On top of that, the horrific visuals that this movie has were pretty terrifying. When it comes to the film's visuals, I really enjoyed the evocative cinematography to convey the movie's creepy atmosphere. There's some really cool camera work going on while also utilizing the lighting to always make the viewer feel uneasy. With the horrific looking malevolent spirits that are featured in the movie, the makeup and prosthetics used are pretty amazing looking. It's pretty astounding when a small independent movie like this can easily outperform a big studio-made horror flick. So, yeah, I'm always going to support indie filmmakers. I do enjoy the simplicity of the story itself, but we've had so many different horror movies tread on spirits and possession. If you've seen one of them, you've pretty much seen all of them. However, I do appreciate how this movie in particular does it a bit different in a way. That's what makes this movie stick out from the rest. As far as the talent goes, pretty much everyone in the movie are a bunch of unknowns, except for Miranda Otto, who's known for playing Eowyn in the Lord of the Rings movies. The film's standout is none other than Sophie Wilde. Her range that's displayed in the movie is utterly magnificent, and her performance really made this movie. With all that said, this has easily become one of my favorite horror movies of the year, and I highly recommend everyone to go out to the theaters to check out this movie if you can. Overall, Talk to Me is an enjoyable, thought-provoking, tantalizing horror flick that is a resonating experience that will stay with you long after the movie's over. As a refreshing, stylistic horror movie that breaks the formula and subverts expectations, it is surprisingly effective at hitting the right beats. While the film itself is not entirely perfect by any means, it's still pretty close to it. I give this movie an A. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel to keep up with my real reviews.